Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? All right. I got a lot to do in 15 minutes, so we'll be moving briskly. But hopefully talking about some things that I already know because you came here. The things I care about are the same things that you care about. And Great Place to Work, I'll talk a little bit about it. We have surveyed over 100 million employees, and the reason that that's important is because I'm going to say a lot of things today, and I just want you to know they're backed up with data. These aren't my opinions. So if you want the data, just contact me, and I'll give you the source of the studies and the research that leads to a lot of the things that I'll be sharing today. We have offices in 57 countries, so we know a lot about employees because that's who we survey. We survey employees in about 10,000 companies a year, and therefore know a lot about culture and what employees care about. This is the badge that a lot of companies want. It's a Great Place to Work badge. It's a badge that means that when we ask your employees about 50 questions, they say 7 out of 10 out of them, this is a great place to work. That's what it is. And so people get this badge. They're happy to have this badge. They push it through their social media. And today at 1:30, there's a practicum led by our Executive Vice President, Kim Peters, who will be talking with our partner, Whole Foods, about how you get this badge, how you become a great place to work. And if you're not interested in it, I can assure you your employees are. These are the kinds of badges that a few times a year people go absolutely crazy. When we give out a badge like the 100 best companies to work for, literally 3 million people party all day long. We know because we get the videos and all the Facebook live streams. The companies just shut down and party and have a great time. And that's the CEOs realize, I thought it was great PR. I had no idea what it did for our employees. I had no idea because we recognize people so infrequently. They're proud to say, I work at this company. So it's just a great thing to be able to be a part of. These are some of the companies that were on our list that was published in March in Fortune magazine. That's our media partner. We've got a few great companies here, that I want to highlight. They're part of the Conscious Capitalism movement, the Container Store, Whole Foods, and REI. We call these companies legends because they've just been year in, year out, good economy, bad economy on this list, which is ridiculously great to do. Ridiculously hard to do, and says a lot about the leadership and the people in those companies. Here's the other thing. We all know this. We just wonder why other people don't get it. Treating people great, treating all our stakeholders great, it makes you money. We just wonder why everybody doesn't do it. It's one of the great mysteries, in the world. But this is the fact. We have stock pickers who buy the companies that are on our list every year and have been doing it since 1998, and this is the return that they've gotten. An awesome return. There's a detailed analysis of this in the March 15 issue of Fortune magazine done by Jeremy Dobson from Parnassus Investments. He just describes how much money he put into these companies and what's happened. He's done great, but everybody doesn't do it. Everybody doesn't necessarily believe in it. But what we know, this is why we're here at the Conscious Capitalism conference, is that it's more than the money. Money's great. Don't have any problem with money. But what gets us out of bed isn't the money. It's something else. And what we measure in the work we do at Great Place to Work is trust. That's what it's all about. And we believe trust is built, just like Simon Sinek says, based on a sense of purpose that comes from trying to do something that's not about our self-gain. It's about trying to do something much more than that. It's hard to trust somebody who's just about the money. You just don't ever let your guard down. It's when you sense that somebody's about something much more than that, that a different kind of connection can occur. This is our mission at Great Place to Work. It's what we believe in. Everybody who works there, this is why they come. They can do many things. This is why they come to Great Place to Work. Because we actually believe we can do this. We can create a better world by helping businesses and all the people who spend a ton of time doing this thing called work be in a great place to work. And we don't mean just Fortune 500 companies. If you've got 10 employees, we want it to be a great place to work. If you're a worker, we think you deserve it. This is the credo from Conscious Capitalism. should look familiar. I just highlighted that last line because that's what I'm here to talk about, that we can aspire to do more. This is what a great place to work is. This is how we define it. For those of you taking pictures, I love it, but I can email all this to you if you connect with me afterwards. But keep doing the pictures. I'm not bothered. I just want you to know, this isn't like our IP or anything. Happy to share all of this with you. But this is what we score. Starting January 1st, we changed our methodology. This is the new methodology. We score innovation, financial sustainability, the relationships that people have with each other, and the relationships that they have with the people that they work for. This is what's new. We now score something called For All. We now look to see whether people are having a consistent experience, everybody. Because what we found in looking at the data is that, I'm just going to be frank, white males have one experience and other people have different experiences. And when you average them, it gives you a feeling that it's a great place to work. Well, in fact, it's a very different place to work. That's like a shocker, okay? So that's what it is. And so we were like, that's not a great place to work. That's called a great place to work for some. We're going to move this to a great place to work for all. So that's what this page is about. And we have a lot of work to do, but this is why we can aspire to more. So what do leaders have to do? More importantly, what do we have to do in order to create this great place to work for all? What is it that we're going to have to start doing differently? Knowing that the data tells us things like this. We know a lot about what women think about this thing called work and what it takes for them to feel it's a great place to work. And if women don't feel they can approach management and get an honest answer, just 25% of them say they think it's a great place to work. Let me tell you why this is really important. In this survey are a lot of hypo women. Do you know what they are? These are companies that designate people as hypo. They don't call people low-po, but if you're not hypo, you're like low-po, I guess. Okay? So you want to be hypo, high potential. Well, in that survey, these are women who get the greatest compensation plans, the greatest relocation plans, the greatest stock grants. And because they don't feel they can have an honest conversation with the person that they work for, most of them plan to leave that company in 3 to 5 years. And 33% of them do. I think that's pretty sad. And by the way, I'm talking about at some of the greatest companies in the country. I'm not talking about all companies. I'm focused on companies that are great. This is the finding. We actually know more about low trust companies. We just don't have a list of these are the lowest trust companies in the world. That's not good for business. Okay, but we know a lot about them. So this finding is shocking. Here's another thing. This came out of a Deloitte study. You may have seen this. So it gives people the impression that millennials are not loyal. It's absolutely not true. Okay, what millennials want, our study has shown it, is to have conversations with a manager or a leader who cares about them as a person. That's what they want. That's what development means to them. In 4 15-minute conversations, you can create a golden relationship with a millennial. I have 2 at home. It's a little different at home. But, generally speaking, okay, with employees. But it rarely happens. And guess what? They leave because they're going to find that. That's what they're seeking. Purposes really that they want is a connection and somebody to teach them and to care about them. This is what they want. So these are things that we know. Now, this is the most powerful slide of the day. So it's just like if you're having a performance appraisal and somebody says, in terms of your financial skills, you need to get much better. That's like the most positive way of saying you suck. That's what this slide is saying. We suck at this. On a global basis, we suck at Developing, managing, and leading women, millennials, and people of color. I got all the data. And if you think I don't suck, you probably didn't go to yoga this morning or something. Your ego is not being supported by the data. I'm saying we here. I'm not saying you. We are not good at this. We've had very little experience at it. Certainly managing leaders at the top of companies and getting leaders to the top of companies. Our mentors didn't teach us how to do it because they didn't do it. This is just the truth. This isn't my opinion. The statistics support this. And around the world, this is true. We're not very good at this at all. To me, this is the answer to getting the global 2030 results of no poverty, et cetera. We've got to have different people at the table, different people at the top. We've tried it the other way. I'm not blaming anybody here. But with one group making all the decisions, has done a lot of great things for the world. It's not going to do everything for the world. It's time to create an opportunity for more. So this isn't my political speech. I'm talking about business results and what happens when we achieve them. I put this slide in here because I just like it. I just like it. I've liked it for a long time. And I find it to be calming. I find it to be kind of humbling. Like, we're not as smart as we think we are. We haven't evolved as much as we think we have. So it just does this thing for me. This animal's like, I'm just going to sit down and have a banana. So after the last time I talked at Conscious Capitalism, I got some, responses from people, and I'm not going to go through them, but, very interesting. But a few of them were, well, you said a lot of things, and what's your team look like? So I decided to bring a picture of my team. That's my team. Okay? And Alana talked about, she knows Chinwe, the president of our business. And so people will say, well, how'd you find Chinwe? Well, you can go on LinkedIn and Google Harvard, McKinsey, African American. And a ton of people come up, including Chinwe. It's not that hard, but these are the hard to find, okay, which I heard a lot about after my last talk. Michael, I really want to do what you're saying, but people are so hard to find. Okay, well, it's just like I want to find white men. You don't see any of them on here because they're so hard to find. They are so hard to find. I really want high quality, high performing white males, but they are so hard to find. And you don't expect me to lower my standards just for a diversity goal, do you? Okay, have any of you heard that statement? Okay, leading venture capitalists just said it 2 weeks ago in San Francisco. No women in the firm, and 2 miles from Stanford University, but can't find women. Okay, said it, and nobody really reacted. I got up and left. I knew I had something better to do that day. All right? So when I hear things like that, I don't think about the monkey. I feel like this. Then I got to calm down and get back here. Okay? Just like slow it down. Let's have a banana. All right, let's calm down. All right? And I do have some white males. Okay, here they are. Wonderful people. I've got a terrific team. I'm saying all this to make a point and also to demonstrate. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and people say, well, it's easier there. Well, if you look at Silicon Valley, some reason they can't do it. So it's not the San Francisco Bay Area. There's another reason it's not happening. At the top of companies, which is what I'm talking about. As you move down through companies, you do find more diversity. I'm talking about at the top. This is my next layer. Just wanted you to be able to see them too. I'm not going to go through all 700 people, okay? But I just wanted to give you a feel for it. Okay, and I feel like I got a lot to do. I've got some lesbian power couples here. I'm not going to highlight them. I'm not going to out folks. okay? But I think about it. I concentrate on it. I search for it. I want it. If it's different, I want it, because I believe that's how we're going to create a better world, by helping companies become a great place to work for all. Otherwise, I'm just yapping about something I'm not doing anything about. This is what it comes down to. We've done enough research. I don't want to read another millennial report myself, or about women in the workplace. You Google that. You get like 17 pages. All that research isn't getting us very far. Diversity and inclusion committees. I got to really think about the monkey every time I hear things like that. I've been hearing about these for 30 years. Now the new thing is unconscious bias conversations. It's booming in the Bay Area. I don't know about the rest of the country. Everybody wants to go to unconscious bias and then have a conversation. Let's have a conversation at a very nice restaurant. You know, $500 meal to have a conversation about unconscious bias while they're sitting in a restaurant where all the people that are darker skinned are in the back of the restaurant. But let's talk about unconscious bias. Okay? So I'm mocking this because it hasn't done much. I'm not saying don't do this, but let's not hype it up and think we're making progress as a result of doing these things. Let's put our energy into supporting the people who have been wasted. That's all I'm saying. We got to have more women at the top so they could teach us how to lead women. That's the answer. And so on. They have to be at the top. You can't take this one group and retrain them and teach them how to lead women. I got the data that proves it. Okay? In that same survey where we ask women, can they have an honest conversation with the men that they work for, because that's who they work for, and they say no. When you ask men, you know what they say? They don't care. Doesn't make them any difference because they're comfortable. Totally different experience at this thing called work. So why I'm saying these things, some of you are like, yes. Some of you are like, Okay, that's what's happening. I can see it, I can feel it. It's common, it's a life experience. I'm used to it though. It doesn't throw me. Got lots of experience at this and the reaction. So, but what if this is the breakthrough? What if, as you think about your executive team, your board of directors, right now, close your eyes. It's not going to be this won't be a silent mindfulness thing. This is something different. Close your eyes for a minute. Visualize your executive team. Look around the room. Visualize your board. Okay? Are people missing? Are people missing? Okay, well, maybe it's like, no, nobody's missing. I like it the way it is. Well, you'll probably get what you're getting. If you're open to something different, and I know you are because that's why you come to Conscious Capitalism. There's something inside you that wants something more. This is a way to get something more. We have to reevaluate our beliefs. That's why it's hard. Everything that got me here, is it going to get me there? You know, we had two leaders here earlier, Kip and John, talking about great stories, great companies. I got the data to support what these companies do. But as they're looking forward, they're thinking of other things that they're trying to do and that they're going to have to navigate. That's reinvention. That's required. What got you here won't get you there. And opening up, I would start with, women, because they aren't that hard to find. They seem to be for some reason, but the math doesn't support it. But at the top, they are really hard to find. But we start there, and then we'll learn how to manage other people that are different. And it starts with an internal search. It's a very personal thing that we're talking about, which comes from sitting, 2 words, silence, and listen, Same letters, just formed differently to make 2 different words, which is really the gut check, honestly. Is there something I need to do different as a leader? It's not about being the leader you want to be. It's about being the leader your business needs you to be. I think it's about being the leader the world needs you to be. I think that's why you're at this conference, because you believe that too. Here's our friend again. We can aspire to do more. It's the line from the credo. I love that line. We can do it. This is a big challenge. If it was easy, I wouldn't be up here talking about these things. I wouldn't see it over and over and over again in company data. Over and over and over again. It's time to address it. We are the right people to address it. That's why you come to Conscious Capitalism. It means making a decision, just like you decided, I want to come to Conscious Capitalism. I want to work with multiple stakeholders. I'm just pushing you a little further to think about groups that are currently not really engaged at the table. And we have to make a decision, which means you have to make a decision. I have to make a decision. That's the only way we does anything. It's not up to them. Donald Trump has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. We could have that conversation out in the lobby. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. We have to do this as leaders. And it starts with accepting what we're really bad at and what we're doing a really poor job at, so we can start to address it. And afterwards, if you go out in the lobby, I hope women don't say, oh, you're not so bad at it. Look, I got the data. We're not good at this. Don't let them off the hook, women. Call it like it is. Call it like you've had an experience. Teach somebody today what it's been like for you to move through your career, and that it's different. This is where we want to end up. This is the only way we create a better world, is by creating a great place to work for all. Thanks for your time and your attention.